Hey everyone, it is Lisa and today is Fit Friday. So I'm going to do something a little different today. I often give you posters or charts to follow, but I thought I'd jump in person and we talk about bands. Now I love exercise bands. I use them all the time, and often if I'm doing an exercise that uses dumbbells, I will switch it out for a band because I just really enjoy the feel of a band. But I'm coming to you today to talk about bands because they're so flexible and so easy to use no matter where you are on the spectrum of working out. So if you have mobility issues, if you're a beginner or you're very experienced, these can work for you. So they come in all different ways. You have the loopy kind, like this. You have this kind I got online, and it just has a glove connected to it. I like this one a lot. And then you have these basic ones that many of us already have. Maybe it's just sitting in a corner somewhere because you haven't known what to do with it. And we're going to take care of that today. So they come in different strengths, tensions. So like this one is my lightest one, and I have written it on there, but I'm not sure what the tension is anymore, but it's easy, okay? Then I have this one, which is 20-pound tension. So you tell like it's a little fatter, a little harder to pull. So, and then like this one is 40-pound tension. And then I have two others, like I have a 50-pound that Dan uses and I rarely do, but occasionally. So I'm going to use the light one today to show you some exercises. And so your Fit Friday today is to take some of the exercises that I've shown you and to practice doing them. Now, there are a couple ways to go about it. Personally, I like to do one set to failure. Failure means that you're doing an exercise and all of a sudden it's just, you can't even, right? Because your muscles have fatigued to the point that that's called failure. And it just means there's nothing wrong with it. It just means that is where you are. And the goal is to improve that. So if it takes you 10 times to get to failure, the next time you want to try to get 11 and then 12. And the goal is to work yourself to 18 to 20. If you can get 18 to 20 reps with dumbbells, machines, or bands, then it's time to move your weights up, either to get a heavier weight, a heavier band, or to decrease the tension, increase the tension. So with a band, the way you do that is I might have a lot of slack to begin with, and I have a light tension. And then as I get better at it, I can make a shorter distance, and then it's a lot harder to do. The tension, it has increased. And then when it really gets simple using that, I'll move to a heavier band, okay? So you have the choice. You can work one time to failure, or another common method is to do sets. And so you would do maybe 3 times, and we'll say 8 is a good number for that. And so the first one should be pretty easy, the second one a little more hard, the third one really hard, and you might hit failure in the third one. If they're all really easy, then you need to make it more difficult, okay? And so it's personal choice on how you do that. You can do 3 sets of 8, you can do 1 to failure. That is up to you. I recommend writing down what number you reached so that you can track your progress. And then it's nice to look back and see the progress that you've made. You're like, look, I did that. Look how much stronger I am. So when you hit failure, you have created a situation in your muscles, or they're tiny tears. And that sounds really bad, but really it isn't. And then your body heals. That's why we take a rest day. And that healing makes the muscles bigger and stronger. It also makes your bones stronger. So as we age, that's very important that we have strong bones and strong muscles. And with that, we also want mobility and flexibility. So on Fit Fridays, I'm going to try to cover all of that, because the goal is to keep doing all the things that you do for as long as you can do them. And that includes things like looking over your shoulder in traffic, picking up groceries, picking up grandchildren, going for a walk, taking stairs. So that's why we refer to a lot of these exercises as functional exercises. They are exercises that are functional in our everyday life, and they help you function, is a good way to think about it. All right, so let's dive into some exercises using a band. We'll start with biceps, okay? So with the bicep, I'm going to make this band shorter. I'm going to grab this handle and hold on somewhere where it's kind of a middle amount of tension for me. And I can test this out till I find the right one. And then I'm going to put my elbow right down by my side, and I'm going to pull my arm straight by my side and back up. So it's slack up here and tense down here. And I can take my time to increase this. It's called negative resistance. So I would come down, and then I might go 1, 2, 3, 4. Do know that if you do that, you may hit failure, most likely will hit failure sooner, but it all builds those muscles. It's all the same. So our bicep is to hold it up in the air, and then we just pull it down. Try not to move anything except from the elbow down to the wrist. And you can do this seated as well. Try a seat that either has narrow arms or no arms, if possible. If it has to have arms, you'll have to go out from your arm a little bit. Okay, triceps. So the bicep, we're working this side, and we're working this side. And women especially, this is problematic. But I want to give you a little bit of hope in a weird sort of way. I saw Jane Fonda in a TV show, and she has worked out. She is part of why we have exercise videos. She revolutionized the exercise world. But she's in her 80s, and she was dressed in a little nightgown, and then she held her arm up and went flap, 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 flap in the mirror. And my thought wasn't horror, it was relief. I thought, well, look, there's something to that's how being a woman looks. Because if she has it, then that is just how it is. So our goal is to make that muscle as tight as possible, but to not get hung up on our bodies that way. If they flap a little, they flap a little. If you are someone who has cellulite, then you do. That can improve, and collagen is a great way to help with that. But it is, some of us are genetically predisposed to have more than others. And I want you to love the body that you're in. You can work towards changes in your body, but love the body that you have today. Okay, back to it. So we did our bicep. So your tricep, we're going to take this, and if you're standing, we're going to stand on it. Again, adjusting your tension to what works for you. So I'm going to pull this straight up, and then I'm going to put my hand here to brace myself a little, and I'm going to pull it down like I'm scratching an itch, okay? And then I'm going to do the other side as well. So we're just going to take it, arm up, and you'll feel the tension at the top. And you do that, and you'll feel it on the back of your arms. Okay, biceps, triceps, and now we're going to work our chest a little. So we're going to take it, you can wrap it in your hands. If you don't want these flapping around, just hold on to them as well. And which I probably will do. Okay. So we're just going to find the right amount of tension. We're going to hold it by your sides. I'm going to make mine a little shorter. And then stretch it out like you're going to be a T, and stretch it back in. So out, out, in at the level of your chest. And you're going to feel that in your chest, arms, and back. Another way to do this is to take it over the top. So we're going to come up here and then come back and stretch it. Same movement, the arms are out, stretched, and back, okay? So your biceps, triceps, front chest, and back to do. Now this one is really great for that mobility and functionality. You want to think about shooting an arrow, okay? So you stand forward, your legs at a far stance. one arm way out. See, I look like I'm gonna shoot an arrow maybe. Let me just release it for the arrow. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn at my waist and turn my head and pull it back and forward and forward. Let's see. So the improvement you'll see is how far back you can go and how far back you can look. And that's important for things like pulling out in traffic, or somebody asks you a question, you're sitting beside them, you would be able to look over or look behind you for something. So working that waist and your neck is really important, okay? So I think that's a good set for some upper body exercises for you today on Fit Friday. And you can combine that any way you want. You can do them seated for the most part, I think. If you have trouble with the one, reach out to me and we'll come up with a way to do it. You can also do it standing. And if we do the tricep where you don't stand on it, we can do where you can lean over in your chair, pull this out, your elbows by your side, and we're just gonna pull it this way, okay? So you can have the option to do that as well for a way to adapt that. So I hope these are helpful. Please feel free to put comments, ask questions, and I will see you on next Fit Friday.